Hello again, lockpicking Paul here, and this is my video into Lockmania's 1K giveaway. The idea of this being to talk about some of the hobbies, perhaps other than locksport, that may have also led to locksport. In that case, my hobby, as you can see on the screen here, is not actually building cars, it's more engineering. So Nigby did a clip show of his hobbies, and I thought that was a really nice idea because I got tons of photographs from various things that I've done, and I thought that would be a good use and a good approach to doing this. So what this can be viewed as is a rather than one project, maybe 1,000 little projects, because I started building this car before the internet was a thing, and so you couldn't go look anything up. You had to go down the library, get a book, teach yourself something, and then go do it. So that's where I started. This was around about, well, I started building this around about 1995. And I knew nothing about building cars. All I wanted to, I like them. I wanted to build one, but I really didn't know where to start. So I had a slightly modified vehicle at the time, and I ended up swapping that for a rolling chassis. And I promptly bit off way more than I could chew by trying to build a hot rod from scratch. So what this is, it's totally scratch built. There's no real donor vehicle involved. This is all built from the ground up, bit by bit. And as I went through this project, I had to acquire skills to build the vehicle. So I ended up getting to a point, finding out that I couldn't proceed because I didn't know what I was doing, learning a skill, be it fiberglassing or wiring or a bit of welding, trimming, machining. I bought myself a lathe and a mill to make a lot of the parts for the vehicle, which was quite a journey. So I'd have to sort of stop, learn something for 3 or 4 months, then get on, make the next bit, and then move on step by step by step. It got completely ridiculous in the end, completely obsessive. I ended up, as you can see in the photographs here, there are no real seats. I've basically filled the space with nitrous oxide. I ended up casting my own billets to do my own machining from, and it all got very silly. But it turned out really well, and it won a lot of trophies. It was pretty fast, quite a scary experience if you bear in mind that I've got no formal engineering background. Everything I can do is self-taught. So you could be hacking along the motorway at sort of 70 miles an hour, and then have the thought cross your mind that you're not really good. You're not really sure what you're doing here. Should you be driving this fast in the vehicle you built in your garage? So anyway, it came out all right. And I've used these skills for the last 20 odd years, just doing various things completely unrelated to car building. But it's as you tackle a project like this, you learn lots and lots of new ways of doing things. Jump fast forward many years, and I live on a river, and as we were going into lockdown, I have a kayak and I like to go for miles and miles and miles, but coming back against the flow of the river is hard work. And my lockdown project was to basically motorize my kayak, so that was slightly more involved than I might have imagined. It turns out that you can't buy a motor kit for a kayak. They don't exist. So you've got to make one. So I bought myself a trolling motor. I cut the control head off it. I made a whole bunch of brackets and mounting hardware, and basically jury rigged my kayak so that I could zip along the river in it. That was quite a fun project. You can steer it from the seat. It's got like a tiller handle. You've got a speed controller on your left-hand side, and you can raise and lower the motor out of the water by a pulley system. So that gives it some flexibility. But these were all various skills that I'd picked up while I'd been building the car. Then as that project sort of completed and lockdown extended, I got a bit into woodworking. So this is just a couple of door stops that I'd made sort of out of some lovely old aged wood that came down from a tree in my garden. And that then progressed onto sort of some locksport projects. So I was just getting into the lockpicking, and I started making myself some accessories out of the wood initially, just to sort of organise and store and display my locks. Because it's amazing, locksport, you sort of gather quite a lot of stuff and you need to sort of organise it and store it without it getting into a bit of a mess. So all of this is wood that's sort of come out of these trees in my garden. Then I got into sort of pick making, initially making some metal ones. This was, I think it was Terry B's competition. And that sort of awoke something in me. So I got back to some metal work. A couple of people, Gaz sent me some bits and bobs. I got some very positive comments back on some of the picks and some of the woodwork I've been making. And so that really spurred me on to sort of start making a lot more. After a little while, I've sort of been messing around with the metal work again. This one, I sort of dug out my old bead blaster and started to experiment a bit with finish on the actual picks. So that's an area I'm exploring right now. It's quite good fun. It's nice to try something new. And then I started making some cutaway locks. This one I made. This is it's an Abloy Classic Profile. So I need to teach myself how to sort of pick these. I needed a tool to identify my pick placement and actually make the tools to actually pick the lock with, and this one's come out really rather well, so I'm very pleased with that. So more on this as I get into my Abloy work, and that's sort of it really. It's gone from sort of cars through to boats, through to woodwork, through to locksport and picks and tools and things. So it's a bit of a different, if you like, not interesting, but different look at my life and my sort of journey to this point. So anyway, that's it. I don't really want to bore anybody too much with my many and varied hobbies, but I hope that was A, suitable, and B, interesting for some people at least. And Lockmania, congratulations on the 1K, and many more to come, I'm sure. Thanks very much. Enjoy your picking.